Hello, welcome back to another anime art video. My name is Dennis and I'm a beginner artist, and in today's video I'm going to be drawing another Visored. I waited a little bit longer than I planned to in order to make this intro slash outro because I don't know if you guys know, I'm pretty sure I've said it in like my 1,000 videos depending, right? I've said that I watch D&D on Thursdays. So 9 times out of 10, what I end up wanting to draw on a Thursday tends to be a little bit easier than I would draw any other day because the process, I don't want it to be too long because I have two D&D games, in fact, that I end up watching. One earlier in the day, which is like around like 4, that lasts maybe like sometimes 4 hours to sometimes 3, depending on whether they have stuff to do. It can last 2 hours, right? But that's the first game. And then the second game takes part at 10. It starts at 10, and that one definitively, most likely, will always last 4 hours. And if they do not want, let's say the way the story ends, it they're getting ready to go into a battle, right? And let's say there's 30 minutes left and it's an insane battle. It's supposed to be an insane battle. The DM would make the judgment call of just ending it right there before something big happens because they won't be able to finish the full fight. And ending a D&D session in the middle of a fight tends to be problematic based on the fact that, let's say you end up like rolling in initiative, so you have to keep in mind where people line up in battle, and depending on the type of D&D game, your initiative will change every round for certain games. The first game that I watch at like 4, that game they tend to do initiatives after each round. So if they start a battle in the middle, it's fine because the next thing they could just roll the initiative again, right? But when a game has initiative play by play, person by person, non-changing, if you end up pausing the game and then playing next week, you'd have to remember what everybody was planning on doing during their turn in the battle. You have to keep in mind whose turn was next. You have to keep in mind what the enemies were doing, how much health the enemies were at, and all of that different stuff. You have to keep in mind the location that you're in. You have to keep in mind a lot of stuff to transfer from a week. So they tend to like cut the story off like preemptively before they go into a high stake scenario or slash an extra storyline. Let's say a character is getting ready to get a bunch of information dumped on them at one time. It's better sometimes. It's better, depending on how much time you have left, to just cut it before they get all that information. But other times the DM would be like, okay, this information is enough to shock the characters to the point where as soon as the information dump happens, our session is over, and then they'll end it, right? So, but let's get into this. finished with this picture of a visored. I think I think it makes sense what happened in this episode where the two visors end up getting brutally beaten by the number one, whereas one of their visors, the person that was good with Hato, was able to finish his circumstance solo. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? Well, I don't want to say he finished it solo because it wasn't directly solo. He ended up using Soy Phone's one of her used her Bankai in order to like you do a lot of damage to the opponent, and then he was able to finish it by detaching his arm and putting his arm inside of the enemy to have their own power corrode their entire body pretty much. But this one, it makes sense that one battle would be won by the visors and then another battle would be lost by the visors, because obviously if these two visors show up, the opponent that they're fighting is the number one, and the captains that you just had taken out of the battle are, I would say, two of the highest ranked captains amongst all captains. So for you to have these two be taken, to have these visors take their place, would mean that these visors are able to do what those captains couldn't, and I don't think that that's even remotely possible. I think that if the circumstance, if it was a 2v2, the two visors versus those same two captains, I think these visors die fairly quickly. I think it's not even a matter of contest. So they had to lose. So you have Vizards win one, Vizards lose one, and then whatever happens would be the tiebreaker, right? And then you'd have the final battle, which Aizen versus everybody. Aizen, Geen, and I forget the other guy's name versus everybody. But that's it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. If you didn't, let me know what I can do in the comment sections to make it better for you to watch next time. The glove is off. Peace, love. Thanks for watching.